right, now we are going to talk about our three-phase cueing model. The cueing model that we will talk about today is the hallmark of every Beachbody Live format. Once you learn this model, you can put it into action every time you teach. Anything that you teach, whether it's a Beachbody format or something else, if you can learn to do these three things, then this will not only make you a good instructor, but it will make you a great instructor. It will help you stand out from all the other instructors that teach. So super important, and not only super important for that, but for safety of our members, to make sure that they are being safe during the workouts. This is also just going to be a huge help for that. Okay, so our the one that we're going to talk about the most is our phase 1 cueing, which is where we're going to introduce. So I'm going to talk about each of them first. Phase 1 is to introduce, phase 2 is to improve, and then phase 3 we want to inspire. So if you'll remember the 3 I's: improve, introduce, improve, and inspire. That will help you just as you're learning how to cue and what kind of, not necessarily what order, because we'll go back and forth through these, but just making sure that you're getting all of this in during the workout. So we're going to spend the majority of our time today in the phase 1 cueing. It's the most important, although the others are important as well, but we're going to talk about this and spend a little bit more time in group time with our phase 1 cueing than we will phase 2 and phase 3, okay? So let's talk about them. So the phase 1 is introduce. So it's super important that you give the name of the exercise as well as demonstrate it. Whenever we are teaching, as let's say we're doing a Warrior 2, well, we want to be able to talk about the Warrior 2 move as much as we can that first time that we do it. We're going to talk about the timing of it, the direction of it, how to keep it, how to make it safe, how to give them options. And then when we come back to that again, we're not necessarily having to go through all of that, but we can say Warrior 2, and we know that we've named it, we've demonstrated it, and that's going to automatically give them that cue of what's coming, and then they kind of know how to get back into it. And then we'll throw in maybe some more of these that we did the first time through introducing it, but then we'll also be adding in phase 2 and phase 3 at that time as well. So you want to make sure you name it, you want to make sure you demonstrate it, show it to them. Sometimes we'll show it to them before class, especially if it's like our plyo push-ups, that kind of thing, because maybe we have someone new who's never done it, so you may want to just quickly go over it. But then you're also going to do this during the track as well. Timing of the move. So it's important that we make sure that we're teaching them the timing of the move. So some of our moves flow, and we want to make sure that they know when to flow from one to the other. The other thing is the direction. So we want to make sure they know what direction our feet go in, what direction our shoulders, our hips, where they're looking. All of those things we want to talk about while we're showing them that move. And then we want to talk about safety. Anything that would be a quick safety cue for, let's say, a Warrior 1. You know, one of those things would be where they're turning their back toe in slightly, 45 degrees. Their hips are square to the front. Their shoulders are square to the front. They want to keep their hips level to the ground. So things like that, we want to make sure that we're talking about the first time that we do the exercise as well. And then we're going to talk about options, modifications. This is where we want to make sure they know what the bells and whistles are, as well as how to make it easier, how to regress it, to make sure that they stay safe and that they feel successful. And then just the rhythm of the move. Like I said, we will, some of the things we flow. Some of the moves that we do, we hold. Some of them will flow from one to the other. So we want to make sure that they know what that rhythm is. And we're going to talk about that also in the introduce phase. One of the important things that you can remember that will help you is always cue from the feet up. So we want to start with the placement of our feet, where that should be, and then work our way up from there to where our legs should be, knees tracking over the toe, hips level to the ground, shoulders stacked. So we want to work our way all the way up. Where our arms are, is our arm resting on our quad? Is it on the inside of our quad? Is it overhead? So always start from the feet, work your way up. And that's going to be in our introduce phase as well. From there, we'll go to phase 2, which is just to improve. How to do it better. So we want to give them as many quick cues as we can to make sure that they know how to make the move even better. So we've introduced it, we've demonstrated it, we've talked about it. Now we want to make it better. And then we're going to talk about any corrections. So this is where mirroring your participants is important. I know sometimes we teach classes and our participants will ask us to turn around because maybe it's confusing them. I know I have a lot of non-English speaking participants that will come to some of my classes, and sometimes it's hard for them. They're not hearing me anyway, so they have to do it all visually. So sometimes they will want me to turn around so that they can follow me a little bit better. So that will happen. But it's real important that we are able to mirror our students and teach the class, because we want to be able to give them corrections. And it's really hard, even though I know we can see in the mirror and we can still cue and correct that way, it's just a lot easier for us to be able to visually see our participants and to be able to give them corrective cues during the workout. The other thing that we're going to do in phase 2 is we're going to talk about progressions and regressions. So it's important for us as an instructor to kind of flow in and out of those. One thing that you will learn is when you have advanced students come to your classes, or maybe they've been coming and they know the advanced moves, you can show that, and those people are going to be the ones that are going to be motivated to do it, whether you do it or not. And it's going to be really important that you, as the instructor, show the modified or the regressions of exercises continually, so that the participants that maybe are not ready for that don't feel like that they have to do that. So just keep it in mind, it's not your workout, it's theirs, and we want to make sure everyone is successful in each move that we do. So regressions are important, and also for you to do them. Benefits of the move, and then where we should feel it. So we're going to talk about what's the benefit of the move. Is this to strengthen or to lengthen the hamstring, or to strengthen the quad? Whatever it may be, we want to talk about what the benefit of that move is. And then lastly, we want to talk about where should they feel it. So if it is a stretch in the hamstring, then we can say, I want you to feel length in the back of that leg. I want you to reach your toe to the ceiling. I want you to bend the knee a little bit lower, get a little bit deeper in your lunge. All of those things would be ways to improve the move that they're doing. And then lastly is inspire. So this is where your personality can come out and you can be you. It's not the most important thing to start out, but you definitely want to make sure your personality is coming out in the workout, because this is what makes it fun. This is what makes it challenging. This is where you motivate, you encourage, you challenge, you inspire. This is where you congratulate them for doing such a great job. It doesn't have to be long, but a lot of just little words that we can say that will encourage your participants to go a little deeper, to hang on just a little bit longer, that we're almost done, they're doing a great job. All those things are going to be in the inspire phase. One thing too you need to know is that it's not you just introduce one time, you do phase 2 one time, and then you finish with inspire and you don't do anything else. So this is a fluid cueing model. So we'll start with introduce, but then we may throw in some phase 2, and then we may, I want to inspire, okay, I'm going to go back to phase 2. Oh, I'm going to reintroduce this because I noticed that I still have 3 or 4 that don't quite get it. So this is constantly moving throughout the workout. So don't feel like you go from one and then you forget it and go to the other one, forget it, and then you just finish off with just yelling at them and encouraging them, inspiring them. So it's just fluid. So you're going to keep watching your participants to see if they need correcting. And then if they don't need necessarily correcting, maybe they're not doing the right exercise, or so maybe we need to name it and demonstrate it again. Or maybe I've got somebody that is just wanting to just stop and give up. I'm going to try my best to motivate them to keep moving and challenge the ones that are advanced and that are, maybe they've got a look on their face like, oh, this is boring or this is easy. Take all those cues that you see from their faces and learning your participants and inspire where they need to be inspired at. So now we're going to take some time. We're going to break up into some groups. We're going to do some group time together in groups of 3s and 4s. I think we've already broken up into those groups, so you're going to get with your groups now. And we are going to start with our phase 1 and using our flow.